So we're going to begin with these. I've got a little tin here. I won't need a very big tin. I'm going to pour just a few of them in to start with. I don't want to put the whole lot in because then they won't get oxygenated or whatever you call it. They need oxygen getting to them. So just enough to line the bottom. I'll put those in until they've completely burnt, and then I'll add more to it and so on until they're all finished. I'll put those on the fire now. I've got the fire going over there ready, and I'll keep adding as I need it. So as you can see, they've already gone white, apart from the ones facing me. So I'll turn that around, get a bit of heat to the other side, and then I'll put another scoop of these in. Okay, so they're well and truly cooked. I'll put another scoop in there. Just make sure that it's even all the way around. Let them cook for a while. Okay, now the diodes are all done. Just going to let them cool off, and then I'll be able to crush them. Okay, so now that these diodes have cooled down, I'm going to put them in my dolly pot and smash them up. I just noticed there's some water in there, and that's not good. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want it to turn to a paste and stay down the bottom, is put it in the fire for a little while and dry it off. I'll tip the water out and then dry the base in the fire. I just sat down to get ready to do it and noticed that. So I'll get that done and I'll start smashing these up. Okay, so that's dried off nicely. Now I can tip the diodes in there and start smashing. Now that I've smashed up, I think to the best it can be, I'm going to filter it, sieve it into this container, and any bits that still need smashing up can go back in the dolly pot and be done again. Okay, so I've got it down to a nice fine powder for the most part, and all that's left in here now looks to be metal that would be inside the capacitor, the diodes. I've never done these before, so I don't know if that's as far down as they can go or not. But I'll treat that with acid anyway and see, because that might be where the gold is, or the silver, or whatever could be inside these. I thought about burning them some more, but I really don't think that's going to matter. I don't know. I might give it a little bit more. I might put these in the fire just for a little bit and see if I can crush that up any more, just to be sure. Okay, they're back on the fire in that little, where's my finger? Where are we there? In that little tin. And while that's happening, I'll start the gravity separation of this. So I'm going to empty all this into a bucket, fill it up with water, give it a few minutes to sit, all the heavies will sit and the ash will float off. And you've seen me do this in other videos, so I'm not going to show you the same procedure again. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you have to go back and look at one of my IC videos. Okay, so I've done a gravity separation on this diode material, and I've got it down to that much. I've used the tap water for that, the hose, to do the gravity separation. So now I need to rinse this in distilled water to remove any tap water, because the chlorine in there will turn the silver into silver chloride. I'd rather that be done later, so I'll give that a rinse now, and then I'll put it in a beaker and we can start processing it. Alright, so the diodes are in the beaker with some distilled water and some nitric acid. I'm going to do a nitric bath first to test for silver or any other precious metals. And once it's had a nitric bath and then rinsed, I'll be able to test to see if there's any gold in there. I don't know if there would be gold. I think there might be, but someone commented on one of my videos they think there's only silver. So we'll find out, but for now I'll just do the nitric bath. Okay, so the bits of diode that we put back in to the fire have now cooled off, and they're in the dolly pot waiting to be smashed up. I'll do that now and I'll add the residue to the beaker, which is on the heat, and there's a nice array of vapors, so something's definitely burning in there. Burning, not dissolving. So I'll add these to that now. So the nitric acid from these diodes has finished its reaction. As you can see, there's no fumes, and even when I added more nitric acid, nothing happened. So I would say that the reaction has finished. I'm now going to filter this. It's cooled down for a while, and filter it so that I can get the sludge, and then test that with Aqua regia to see if there's gold in there or not. And there's probably silver in that nitric acid, and I'll get that filtering now. Alright, so the material from the diodes has all been filtered. It's all in here, all the pulp, the residue. The reason why it's in two beakers is because the liquid came up to about here, so I poured it off into this beaker and then started again. So this little bit here will be added to that, and then this beaker, this filter with the material can go in here with some hydrochloric acid and nitric acid so that we can test for gold. I've not done these diodes before, so I don't know what's going to be in them. Someone commented on my inbox saying there's only silver in these, and I've heard that elsewhere as well. So maybe it is only silver, maybe there's gold. We'll soon find out. Once I tip that into here, before I go pouring hydrochloric acid in there to test for silver, I'm going to do a small sample, because there will be free nitric in there, and if there's not silver in there, I'll be able to continue using this for something different. If there is silver in there, then I'll just sacrifice it, put some hydrochloric acid in. But I'll transfer that now into there. I'll get some Aqua regia started in here, put this on heat, and see if there's any gold. Alright, so I'm going to draw up some of the solution and put it into this little beaker. And now I'm going to get some hydrochloric acid. I'll put that down there for a second. Brand new hydrochloric acid. I don't know why it's yellow. It's definitely brand new. And when I put this in there, it should go cloudy if there's silver. And it looks to me like there's no silver at all. So the two people that have said there's silver in there, there's none. I'll put this in my stock pot. I'll give that a stir and try one more time. I don't see what it would matter if it was stirred up or not. It should all be the same. But we'll try again. Get some hydrochloric acid. No cloudiness whatsoever. There's no silver in those diodes. So now it's a matter of seeing if there's any gold in the residue. And if there's not, then there's nothing worth keeping them for. But that's official, there's no silver for anyone who thinks there is. It's not cloudy in any way, shape or form. Okay? Well, the diode material in the Aqua regia seems to be dissolving something. And since it's already had a nitric bath, I doubt very much it's copper or silver. So, despite the two people saying that there's only silver in these, I think there's gold. I don't know what else could be in there. We'll find out when it comes time to drop it. Okay, so the diodes have been cooking in Aqua regia. There's no more reaction, so I'd say it's finished. Now it's time to filter it. I've got a filter over here ready. get some water in there and rinse this out. I'll try not to load the filter up with the sediment just yet. I'll wait till all the solutions drain through first, and then I'll put the sediment in. So we'll come back when that's filtered and drop the gold. Okay, so the diodes have filtered. It's a nice clean solution, and I'm going to put copper rays in there. And once the gold has settled, I'll refine it, and I'll use SMB the next time. Okay, so the gold has dropped from the diode material. I'm going to decant that solution and start refining the gold. Alright, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of gold. Whatever little bit of gold there was is now in the filter. But I don't know if you realised when I poured the iron sulfate or copper rays in there, there was also sediment that had set for a while because the copper rays was made quite a while ago, a couple of weeks ago. So it took me quite a few times filtering it through the same filter to catch everything. Now the solution's clean. So I'm not going to go through the wash process. It took so long to get it all through into the filter. So I'm going to refine it, and then I'll concentrate more on the wash process after it's been refined, if you know what I mean. Otherwise I'm going to go through the same thing every time I need to filter it. So I'll get a little beaker organised and start refining. Okay, so there's hydrochloric acid with a tiny little bit of nitric in there. I'll dissolve the gold. If I need any more nitric, I'll put it in, but I always use tiny bits at a time. Alrighty, so it's time to put some SMB in and see what we get from these diodes. When there's not much gold, there's a slow reaction. If there's lots of gold, there's a fast reaction. And I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'll let that sit for a while. And see what we get. So now we're back to the part that I enjoy. There is some gold in there, but not much. However, I don't think it was a very big batch to begin with. So I would say that these are worth keeping, and with a bigger batch, you'll obviously get a nicer amount of gold. So now I'm just going to go through the wash process. So I'm going to pour this solution off into my wash water vessel. You always want to make sure you've got a flask or a beaker or a bottle or something to pour your wash water into, because tiny amounts of gold will come across you won't even see, and it will settle out in time. You can see down there's a little bit settled out. So I'll pour this off and just give a couple of rinses with some water. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll put some hydrochloric acid in there and start boiling it. Alright, so I've got hydrochloric acid in there now, just waiting for it to boil. Once that's done, I'll do 3 water washes to get rid of the hydrochloric acid, then we can melt the gold. Now I just poured off the hydrochloric acid, and it's finished its boil, and I put the first of another 3 water washes in there. Give that a chance to settle. I'll go ahead and do the other 2, put it in the melt dish, and then we'll melt it up. I'm melting up the gold from the diodes. I'm not expecting any more than half a gram. I think I'll be pushing it to get half a gram, but we'll see what happens. I've run out of oxygen with my oxygen LPG torch, so I have to resort to the MAP gas, and the MAP gas isn't very good at melting gold, not on its own anyway. Probably need 2 going, I think. But see if I can get it to melt. Being such a small amount, it might melt up alright. I don't suppose you can see much in the light. That gas on its own is just not quite hot enough. It's kind of amalgamated into a ball, but it's not really molten metal as such. It's not a perfectly round ball. Kind of an oblong shape, it's not quite forming a nice ball yet. It's taken me a while to get it to this point. So we'll see what this comes to. If I can get it out before it sets hard. Like I said, I'm not really hoping for any more than half a gram. I think I'll be lucky to get that. And a ball of gold there. And we'll turn over. A little bit dirty. It's got a little dirty borax in the pot. So wipe it off. Nothing a bit of clean up with some sulfuric acid wouldn't fix. We'll see what it weighs up as. Probably be like, I think, I'm guessing about 3.5 to 4. There certainly won't be any more than 0.5 I mean. There you go, 0.46. So I do think that they're worth doing, just need a larger quantity. And I just put everything that can be treated the same way into a bucket. I don't necessarily, for myself, keep things single. So all my ICs, all my LED globes, my transistors, apart from the ones with lots of square copper plates on them, just the small 3-legged transistors, and these things will all go into a bucket together. They all get treated the same. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed watching that video. please like and subscribe. Share this with friends of yours if they are interested in watching what happens. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.